A very good time of the day, dear colleagues, and welcome back to our Interviews with Institutions series. This series is aimed to introduce our viewers to the leading arbitral institutions across the globe. And today I have the pleasure to welcome Mr. Pasit Asawawattanaporn, the Managing Director of the Thailand Arbitration Center. Good afternoon, Pasit. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Good afternoon to you too.
Thank you, Pasit. Pasit, can you please tell our viewers about your institutions? How and when has it been established, and what is the role of the Secretariat?
All right. The Thailand Arbitration Center was established by the Act of Thailand Arbitration Center 2004. Let me calculate. I'm sorry. 2007, and we are assigned by the law to promote the use of arbitration and mediation and all other alternative dispute resolution, and also we provide services to our clients in domestically and internationally.
Thank you, Pasit. And as a managing director, what are your duties and what are the duties of the Secretariat under the center's rules?
Yes, the managing director is acting as the registrar of the arbitration cases and mediation cases under the administration of THAC, and we would like to improve our services to be in line with other international famous arbitration center. Right now in Thailand, we are recognized as a leading arbitration center in Thailand, and we are expected by a lot of people in our community to be an international center to other country, and we hope that in one day we will become one of the major important arbitration center in the region.
Thank you, Pasit, and I wish you best of luck with all your plans to develop the center. Since you mentioned your expansion plans to become the leading arbitral center for the region, and I would like to ask you about the following. As you probably know, more often than not, the parties, especially those who had little or no experience in arbitration, choose an arbitral institution by its location. They tend to believe that the location of the institution determines the seat or place of arbitration and venue for the hearings. I understand that it's not the case under the center's rules, and the parties are free to choose any place and or seat of arbitration, as well as venue for the hearings. Am I right?
Under the THAC rules, we are open to the parties to agree what place or seat of arbitration and what venue they would like to do the arbitration under our rule. So it means that if the parties submit the case to our arbitration center, and then they agree that the seat of arbitration under our administration will be Singapore or other countries, I think under our rules, the parties are free to do that. Also, under our rules, it is open to the parties to agree whatever venue they would like to do under our rules. So if they submit a case to our center and they think that the most convenient venue is in maybe Malaysia or Kuala Lumpur, there is no problem for us to facilitate the parties to do the arbitration proceeding under our rule in KL, something like that.
Thank you, Pasit. This is very helpful. And I further note that in the event the parties fail to agree on the seat of arbitration, Article 49 of the rules provides that the seat or place of arbitration would be the Kingdom of Thailand. How can you describe Thailand as the seat for arbitration?
I think, first of all, when the party decide to submit the case to the Thailand Arbitration Center, they will learn that under our rule, they will have some more advantages. Maybe the cost, maybe the location, maybe the flexibility of our rules is up to them. But if they cannot agree in the place or seat of arbitration, there is no choice for them, right? Because they choose to do the case under our rules, and the administration power is under the register, and under the rule, it stipulates clearly that if the party fails to agree the place of arbitration, then there is no choice for them. It would be the Kingdom of Thailand, which I think this is a general rule under other countries' rule, other centers' rule. It will act the same because you choose to do the case under our administration. So if you fail to agree the seat of arbitration, there is no choice. You have to have Thailand as a seat of arbitration. I think the thing is also, if the party fails to agree on the venue of the arbitration, then it's up to the arbitrator to decide what venue is the most convenient for the arbitration proceedings.
Mm-hmm. And what can you tell about the Thailand Arbitration Act and the courts? Are they supportive of arbitration?
Okay, Thailand Arbitration Act is a simple act. It just create our center, and under the law, they give a duty to the government to support us financially. It means that we will have a strong support, and it means that the party can trust our existence, and there is no problem for the parties to rely or to trust to use our center. And for the court, there is no provision in the act to say about the role of the court to support the Thailand Arbitration Center directly. But the court has general duty to help the center to administer the case. So I would say that there is no special treatment from the court, but in Thailand, the court is supportive to the arbitration proceedings. You can see it in the court decision to support the role of the arbitration, and they always I cannot say that most, I cannot say that always, they are mostly try to uphold the arbitral award and try to enforce it as much as possible.
That's really good to know. That's really good to know.
Yep.
Thank you, Pasit. And moving back to the administration process, I know that the center has recently launched an e-filing system to further facilitate administration process. And I assume it has been widely used during the pandemic, has it not? And in general, how did the corona crisis affect administration of arbitral proceedings, if at all?
For sure. For the pandemic, it certainly affect the proceedings in Thailand, because in Thailand there are a lot of measures from the government to restrict the people to travel or to communicate or to present themselves in kind of like a very a very packed environment. So it is unavoidable that this kind of pandemic affect our work here in Thailand. But the thing is that we try to deviate the impact or the effect, the bad effect from the pandemic by using the video conference and any other electronic devices to facilitate the parties to come to our arbitration proceedings proceedings and feel and they could feel that they could try the case as alike as they can do, as they can present themselves in front of the arbitrator. Anyway, for Thai people, most of them they don't want to use the kind like a video conference or any electronic device. So what they are doing in the arbitration cases in Thailand right now is that they would like to postpone some uh, some trial dates or some proceedings in the case that they could come back to do it by themselves, by in-person proceedings, something like that. So I think for the pandemic, they have a lot of effort to the Thai community, and under our administration, they do effort, but we try to facilitate the parties to run the case as much alike as they can do under the situation. And for I'm sorry, I think you have another question about the pandemic. I'm sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Has the e-filing system been used widely during the pandemic?
Okay. So recently, I think a few months ago, we launched the new platform to the parties. We call it a Talk DD, and Talk DD. It is kind of like a band name. It is an online dispute resolution, and it works well for the party. A lot of parties they choose to use the Talk DD as a system to do the arbitration proceeding. Anyway, the Talk DD, because they facilitate the parties in remote area, but sometimes the party, as I said, they would like to do it as a in person or face to face proceeding. So sometimes it is it does work well for the parties who would like to do it, to do all the proceedings electronically. But for some parties, they don't want to do it electronically. So it will not work for them. That is one of the e-filing that we presented to the parties. One more thing that we built to facilitate the parties to run the proceeding in case that they would like to do it kind of like a face-to-face proceeding. We launched a new platform. We call it AMO 24/7. It would facilitate the party to submit all the documents to the system. But for the trial, for the hearing, they could come to our office to do it as they do when there is no pandemic, something like that. I don't know if I answer you correctly.
Absolutely, Pasit. Thank you so much. And I agree to you that the center has embraced the digital age of arbitration, so to say. And since you mentioned that many parties preferred to postpone the hearing, I cannot but notice that the e-filing system was not the only innovation the center has introduced. I understand that a simplified process for visa issuance has been implemented. Can you tell us more how it works?
Okay. You know that in Thailand there is some how could I say, there is some belief that they think that to travel in and out of the Kingdom of Thailand is very difficult, and it would be at risk at some degree if they don't submit the paperwork correctly. So what our center tries to do, and I think we have done it successfully, is that we contact the government to do some more, what I call some more open policy to the arbitration. Right now, the government has implemented 2 measures to facilitate the foreigners to come in and come out of Thailand to do arbitration center, to do the arbitration proceedings. The first one, we call it the smart visa. This kind of visa, actually, usually the government issue it for some highly needed experts to do some more work, in Thailand. Under the special, under the smart visa regime, you can apply it very easy through any Thai ambassador in your country. And then when you get a smart visa, you can come to the Thailand, and you have no need for applying the work permit too. You know, in Thailand, if you would like to come to Thailand to do some work, you have to apply for visa. And then when you get into Thailand and you would like to do some job, some work, you have to apply a work permit too. But under the smart visa regime, if you apply the smart visa, which is very easy through the Thailand ambassador throughout the world. If you get the smart visa, then it is allowed under that smart visa that you can do work in Thailand without any kind of asking you to get the permit, something like that. That is the first one. And usually, as I said, it it applies to the highly needed expert in Thailand. And because I talked to the government and I said that this arbitration proceeding, this arbitration professional, it is highly needed by our community because it could benefit a lot of things. So I finished the first measure that the government has already implemented to promote the use of international arbitration proceedings in Thailand. For the second measure, they amended the law of arbitration to allow foreigners, including the representative and the arbitrators, to enter into Thailand with the expedited work permit. As usual, if you come to Thailand and you would like to do some work as a foreigner, you have to submit for a work permit, right? It would take you maybe 3 days, 7 days, or maybe 2 weeks, something like that. It is sometimes this kind of time period is not fit for the arbitration proceedings because arbitrator may come into Thailand and they do work in Thailand for 1 or 2 days or 3 days. So if you ask them to come to Thailand and submit for the work permit for 1 week, it does not work. So the thing is, the government has amended the law of arbitration to allow the foreigners to come to do arbitration proceeding in Thailand with the expedited work permit. It means that you can have the work permit for the arbitration proceeding in 3 hours. And then there is a special provision stipulated that during your waiting for the permit, you can act as an arbitrator or act as a representative of the case without having the permission directly. Okay, the waiting time, you can do your job during the waiting time. So it saved the arbitrator and all the relating foreigners a lot. I think those are all the measures that the government has already implemented. Also, in Thailand, there is some ambiguity about when the representative of the parties come into Thailand and acting as a representative in the arbitration case. There is a question for all foreign representatives that can they make a question to the witnesses, something like that. this is some kind like controversial and ambiguity in the law between lawyers in Thailand. So our center has already coordinated with the Labor Department to issue and some kind like a guideline to the foreigners representative that they can act as a representative and they can raise a question during the hearing without any problem. And if they hire a Thai lawyers along with them in the trial, something like that.
Thank you, Pasit.
So I could say that there are a lot of things that Thailand has improved themselves to prove that they are ready to be one of the major international arbitration center in this region.
Thank you, Pasit. This is very insightful, and this is really user-focused approach that solves certain immigration issues that are prevalent in some jurisdictions, so to say. Given your plans, and since you mentioned that the pandemic did affect the administration process, can you please share with our viewers the statistics for 2019 and 2020? Has this effect of the pandemic been reflected in the statistics?
We can see from the numbers of cases in our center. We have the number of a double number of cases in this year compared with last year. I think this number can show that we are dealing with the pandemic quite successfully.
Indeed, and again, I congratulate you on the development of the center in a such fast pace. And can you tell us what are the disputes that are commonly referred to the center? Because there are some centers that specialize, say, in construction. Some centers do just general commercial work. What are the disputes administered by the Thailand Arbitration Center?
Okay, actually, I could say that we are ready for any kind of commercial disputes. But right now, under our statistic, it shows that most of the cases submitted to our center are construction cases. It consumes more than 50% of our current cases.
Are they domestic cases or international?
A lot of them are domestic cases. We also have some international cases, but not as many as we expect. And we have to do more work. We have to work harder to get more international cases into our center.
I see. And as far as international cases are concerned, what are the nationalities of the parties?
Mostly, one side is Thai, other side are from other countries. I think some of them from Europe and some of them in Asia, something like that.
I see. And in your experience and from your point of view, what makes the parties choose arbitration pursuant to the center's rules? Why the parties prefer your center, say, over litigation before the national courts or other arbitral institutions?
Okay, I think the first one is compare with, you mean compare our center with our court, right?
Yeah, for example.
Okay. The first one I think is about the confidentiality. Some of the party, they don't want to go to the court because the court is public, right? So they would like to keep some confidence inside the party. So they come to the party. The second thing is the speed. I think you know that in Thai court, they are so the case are so overwhelmed, and it is the court are loaded by the case, and in some cases, and especially in some difficult cases or in some high value claim dispute, it may take you years to finish the case comparing with the work of our center. You can finish it not more than 1 year, something like that. So I think those are two components that the parties would like to choose to choose the arbitration center prefer to the court.
And what about costs? How do you describe the costs of arbitration under the rules of the center?
Okay, under the rules of the center, if you compare our cost with any other international center in this region, I could say that we are the cheapest center in this region. But compared to our local court, I would say that we are more expensive than our local court.
Which makes sense. Yeah. That's usually the case. And to conclude, I want to ask you, what are the plans of the center for the future? You mentioned expansion, but what exactly are you planning to do? Maybe organize conferences, revise rules, internationalize the advisory board. What are your plans?
Okay, our plan is that, as I said, I would like to expand our center to be more international and to be more famous, and we could be in line with any other famous international center in this region. So we do a lot of things to show our face to the world that we are ready to administer their cases, and we are smart enough, and we are diligent enough to administer their case well. We have done a lot of international cases, but unfortunately decreased our international activities due to the pandemic that online. This year we call it ADR webinar series, that it will begin in July until the end of September. You would have around 16 sessions under this series, and we got a lot of different center from other countries in Asia and in other regions to collaborate with us to this event. And I think this event will show our strength to the world. And more than that, we also invite a lot of prominent arbitrators to be panelists in our arbitrator panelists, which right now we have I think more than 500 panelists in our panels, and more than a half they are from other countries, and I could say that they have a very high profile. Yep. And more than that, what we would like to do is that we would like to present ourselves in any kind of social media. We do a lot of hard work in LinkedIn to promote our office. We do networking with other international center to do the job together, and we hope that those kind of things, all those kind of things, will help our Thailand Arbitration Center to be recognized as one of the leading international center in this region.
Thank you, Pasit. I also hope that this interview would assist you in raising awareness.
Thank you so much.
About the center. And since you mentioned social media, I strongly encourage our viewers to visit the website of the center and to follow the center on the social media to stay in touch with the center and its development. Thank you so much, Pasit.
Thank you so much, and I hope you support us, Thailand Arbitration Center, to be a recognized, famous center to the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pasit. It was my pleasure.
Thank you.